Hello and welcome back to the Hearts Wide Open podcast. My name is Dennis.
And I'm Soroosh.
And we're back with another episode this week to talk about an experience we've been through with the two of us. And we've announced this already on one of the earlier episodes.
Yes.
That we're going to go on holiday together. And it was quite an interesting one.
It was a good journey.
Yeah.
Where did we go?
Journey indeed. We went to Portugal.
Mm-hmm. We went to Lagos, to south of Portugal, to have more chill holidays. It was purposefully for surfing, because I have never done surfing. I think you have done it once.
Yeah, it was my second time.
And I really wanted to try it. And then after that, we went to Lisbon. And if you remember, in the last episode, we said that we want to step away a little bit from social media and the online world. And we tried to do that. Maybe, Dennis, you can explain how did we approach this challenge?
Yeah, so we wanted to go on a bit of an active holiday, like challenge ourselves a little bit, like you already said.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we wanted to do was to really limit our social media and like phone time, screen time in general, to just be more in the moment and really enjoy our holiday. And the second thing was to be really open to connect with other people, like strangers. You know, I feel like when you go on a solo trip, that's much easier somehow. But when you go with another person that you already know, then a lot of times I feel you stay in your bubble and you just stay with that person. And we wanted to have the same experience as on a solo holiday where you meet a lot of cool people, but still also have our experience with the two of us. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how that went. But before we dive deep into it, I wanted to make two announcements.
Go ahead.
So this is our last October episode, and the next month is going to be November. And some of you may have heard of Movember, the Movember movement, which is there to raise awareness for men's mental health, but also men's health in general and any topic related to men's health. And this year we're going to participate with the Hearts Wide Open podcast in two ways. First of all, Soroosh is going to do something, which is... I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, no. I'm kidding. I'm going to run a 10K in Haarlem for the challenge, and start...
when is that?
The run is, I think, 3rd of November, and I will start. I will also want to start a GoFundMe challenge for everybody who wants to contribute to the cause, and later we were gonna give the money to a charity that does mental health. The
Movember charity. Yeah. Indeed. So stay tuned on our Instagram to know how you can support Soroosh for the 10K run in Haarlem. You also heard the date, 3rd of November?
3rd of November.
3rd of November. If you live in the Netherlands, feel free to come. You'll see Soroosh wearing a Hearts Wide Open t-shirt. And donate to the campaign that we're going to do on behalf of the podcast and the Movember campaign. And there's a second thing we're going to do. We are going to host our very first men's circle at the end of November. And if you live in the Netherlands or near Amsterdam, you are free to join. We're going to have a sign-up link on our Instagram, but also on our website. So stay tuned there. And join us for a men's circle. The only thing you need to be is identify as a man and look for a space with fellow men where you can really open up and show vulnerability, because that's what we're going to do together. It's going to be an amazing evening. It's going to be completely free and donation-based, and all the donations that we get from this event, we're also going to contribute to the Movember campaign. So those are two announcements.
Yeah, but we're going to also add more details of how is it going to go with the men's circle. And of course, if you want to do any contribution to the running that I'm going to do, feel welcome. Even if it's you being there, I would still love that.
Yes. So let's dive into this. So we went on holiday together in Portugal. We went surfing. We went city tripping. We met a lot of awesome people. And as we already mentioned, we're going to limit our phone use and be really open to connect with others. And we thought we make an episode because we feel like we had some really incredible learnings. And we've already talked about them a little bit, but we really wanted to use this opportunity to unpack here for you, because we thought these things are also valuable to other people. So maybe the first learning that we both had was definitely, again, that I think when you travel with someone for the first time, you really, really get to know that person on another level. Like being together 24/7 for over a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're smiling.
I didn't know we were gonna talk about this.
That's fine.
But so you thought when you went, because we went briefly through the outline, and I thought you meant other people, but you meant me.
Yeah. Like,
I thought about it during the trip that it was our first plane ride together.
mm-hmm.
Where I think the travel we went once, we had day trips.
Day trips, yeah.
One or two. But dude, I spent the Christmas with your family. Doesn't that count?
It's different. It's different.
Okay, but
it was not like anyone's familiar environment or anything.
Yeah,
like,
okay, you're right. This was more the two of us most of the time going through the quests that we went through. Yeah, that is true. That is true. So Dennis, maybe after this duo trip, what was something that for the first time you didn't know about me and you found out?
Yeah, I feel like obviously there's ups and downs, and being together for 7-8 days, every minute of every day, almost, you learn a lot of things about the other person. Like, for example, one thing I learned was that I feel like you're more the person who just likes to get up in the morning and then get out of the hostel or the Airbnb and walk in one direction and get the day started. And I feel like I can be like that, but I prefer to have a rough plan at least of what we're gonna do, like where we're gonna go, like where we might eat, maybe take some things in preparation for the day, like I don't know, get some food ready, already have it packed, and then eat it later at the beach, you know.
Okay.
Be in that way.
Yeah. That is true.
And I think it was interesting that we also had our struggle with that sometimes, where you were like, all right, come on, man, let's just move. And I'm like, no, let's see where we're going to move first. You know?
That is I remember that. Or, as you said, for me, it's more of adventure. Let's go on adventure. That's, I don't know if we're going to go to the beach, if we're going to go to this place or that place, if it's good, if it's great. Yeah. If it's bad, okay, we had an adventure. But as you said, for you need a little bit more planning and a path, an idea of what are you doing if you need something to prepare. But it's interesting. We had this, I wouldn't say struggle. I think this is a challenge that happens for anytime I travel with someone, this happens. But I don't know. I felt like with you, it was still very good. Yeah. Like I found both of us finding a consensus in the middle that we can both fold toward that way.
Yeah. No, I feel like we definitely managed to figure it out. There was some moments of frustration, obviously, in between, but it was nice to then always open up and be communicative.
Yeah, exactly.
About that.
Yes.
And I do feel like now we kind of reached a consensus with the example I gave, for example, that we plan some things, and then in between or in those things we were open to experience
random
other stuff. Yeah,
this was the final consensus that we made.
Yeah, so that was cool. And so you wanted to talk about something, like one of your takeaways related to also the phone usage, but more related to stillness.
So something that I related to the challenge that we wanted to do, I wanted to really make my phone usage 0 and just not even use it for maps and nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it was difficult because, as you said, sometimes you need preparation to know where to go.
Where's our hostel?
Where's our hostel? Yeah, like
How
basic
do we
stuff.
get from the airport to the city. Yeah.
And maybe we were not super prepared. But for example, I barely used any social media during the 3-4 days we were in Lagos. Not that I didn't want to, but I think I chose to.
And what how did that change? Did that change your day, or how did that change your experience for better or worse?
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't say it changed my day or my life because I expected more. I expected to come out of this experience as a completely different person,
Okay.
but maybe 3 or 4 days wasn't that big enough. I was very happy because I felt like I'm very disconnected from the outer world, like the life I have in Netherlands or my online friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I was more in the moment with the people who were in the hostel or with the people that we were going out at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, okay, now that I'm not on Instagram or whatever social media, I actually have time and want to spend more time getting to know other people, which we got to know. I don't know, a lot of people from Australia. A lot of people from Australia.
Yeah.
A lot of cool people from the hostel. We met one sailor guy.
Yeah.
We went to one guy from Microsoft who went to Burning Man.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, we met a lot of interesting people, and I think like
Yeah.
for example, me as well. Like in Lagos, I didn't use social media at all. I checked a few restaurants for reviews, but other than that, other than maybe sometimes maps,
Yeah.
I didn't use social media at all. And I think, yeah, I spent less time there, so I had more time for other stuff. For example, walking around with my head up and just appreciating
Yeah.
the surroundings, the nature.
Exactly. Like maybe you want to talk about what we did the other day with just walking. We went to in Lagos. We just walked to the what was that called, the coast.
That viewpoint.
Yeah.
So there are some like there's an interesting, nice coastline from Lagos, which has caves as well down by the beach, and then we walked on top of that. It was a rainy day, and we just walked on top of that to one of the viewpoints, and then we just sat down, and
Got some beers.
yeah, we had a couple beers, and we put on some nice music, and yeah, the view, even though it was cloudy and it was on and off raining, the view was just really amazing, and I really felt one with nature in a way, and it helped that I didn't have like any input from my external world or through social media in that moment, like no messages that were flying around in my head or just nothing. It was just being there, sitting there,
Yeah.
even enjoying the rain,
Mhm.
dancing in the rain, having that beautiful view, and just being with one of my best friends in such an amazing place, having such a nice experience.
Yeah.
And
You feel like you
Yeah.
don't have a to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like you're just there. There's no plan what we're gonna do after. We just have some beers, we have music and speaker and the rain, and we just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
And,
for me, that was very fun.
Yeah. No, that was definitely also one of my highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think social media and phone use, I think it's really hard to maybe get rid of it 100%. So I'm really appreciative of the fact that we kind of did this as an experiment. And it also taught me that when I'm more conscious with my time online, I can improve my life offline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. And going back to your question, and I said I felt I felt like I'm gonna come out of this as like a hero, very
Mhm.
empowered, but it wasn't very empowered. I had a good life, but I had a good time when I was not using it. And then when I came back to the Netherlands or a few times in Lisbon, I was thinking about but before I talk about this, I really want to talk about also what we did in Lisbon.
What do you mean?
Well, I did a lot of things, but yeah, one night I think we met. We talked to strangers near the harbor, and then we became kind of friends. The next night we wanted to go out. Then we were just walking on the street, and I heard this music, like street music. And I was like, yeah, let's just go check this out.
Yeah.
That's experience.
Yeah.
Maybe you wanna.
Yeah.
How was it from you?
Really nice. Actually, we were just sitting by the harbor that one evening in Lisbon, and there was this girl sitting by herself. And at some point, I think you just you asked her something, and then started talking. She was solo traveling. and we just spent a nice evening together. And next day we wanted to meet up again at this bar. And she was also with some other people. Her name is Lauren, in case she's listening in, by the way. Shout out to Lauren from Ireland. And so we were gonna go there to meet her and her other friends. And then we just hear this music at the corner, and Soroosh was like, "Yeah, let's just stand here for a minute and listen."
But it was very good.
Yeah,
Like this violin that I was hearing was top notch.
yeah. So for the ones who haven't been to Lisbon, like you can imagine this really, there's a hilly old city, like it's very up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just walking down from somewhere, and then they're like between the streets under
like a dome. What do you call this? Not a dome.
an arch.
An arch, an arch in the between of two streets.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And then there was like this four people, one girl, she was singing, playing the guitar, dancing. There was this other guy playing the violin very well. Shout out here to Lucas and Cecily. Those are their names. And then also two other Brazilian guys. One was playing like this drum thing, and the other one was also singing. And they were just jamming, like such a nice vibe. And we stayed there, I don't know, for half an hour or so, and just enjoying, and then also talking to some of them. And then, we remembered, we were so in the moment, we forgot that we were about to go to see Lauren and her friends. So we remembered, and we're like, okay, we'll just go around the corner. We'll be back with more people. That was kind of cool. And then
and then we picked up the people, and then we came back. They already packed up to go. Yeah. And then we were like, guys, we just brought an audience. And then they started jamming again. Yeah. We realized even they didn't know each other. If I remember, Cecile also just heard the three other guys playing, and then she came, started singing. It was just a vibe. You could tell that people are vibing. Yeah. And at the end, they started playing again, and I think we started singing, and they joined us. And at the end, it was 10 of us just dancing and singing every kind of music, Persian, German, Irish French, for, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours in the middle of the street of Lisbon. Yeah. And even police came. It was like, guys, go home. Yeah.
Silent. People were trying to sleep. But
that was for me also a very beautiful moment to just connect with a bunch of random strangers on a random day in a random city.
Yeah. That was really also my highlight, I think, from the whole trip maybe.
It was beautiful. But going back to the point, not using social media was okay for me during this trip, because there was so much outside trigger for me that, I don't know, I just go upstairs to the kitchen in the hostel, and I turn around and say hi, we start talking, and then I know a different person that later during the night we might go out, or I meet a sailor. There are nice things to talk about. Mm-hmm. But the struggle for me coming back home is on a Sunday that you're home, but there's no one home, and you just, first thing that you go for is your phone, because there's a world out there that can trigger you, that can gives you that dopamine level that you want when you're sometimes addicted to, because there's no outside trigger.
What do you mean? What, like you wake up in the morning and what?
Not wake up in the morning, like I don't know, I read a little bit of a book, mm-hmm. and then I'm tired, and then my brain is like, what is next? Mm-hmm. My brain has become a machine that consumes things. Mm-hmm. It's the part that it cannot be still that much. Some days I can. Some days I just put a good music, eat my soup.
But listening to music is not still, huh?
No, that is true. Yeah, that is true.
Like for me, still is really just being.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, just being and not talking, not listening to anything. If anything, maybe listen to the birds.
But then that's still, listening is a trigger, isn't it? It's a very settled trigger compared to social media.
Like listening to what's there instead of putting something to listen to, maybe. Maybe that's a better way to put it. But I find that difficult. Like if you're there with me and I don't know, we're talking, or if I'm watching a movie, or if I'm watching a play,
I don't want to use my phone. But when the outside trigger is not there, it's like you fall back to your social media or whatever phone usage that you have.
So you mean like we were in a different environment, so it was easier to like be there?
Yes.
But if you're in the same environment that you're in every day, you go back to like your old routines of I'm gonna use my phone on the toilet.
Exactly.
After I'm waking up, when I'm eating.
Toilet is the best example of this.
I think a lot of people out there are doing this. If you're also doing it, I'm also guilty. Soroosh is also guilty.
No. Sometimes.
Then maybe it's also nice to think about that.
But toilet is the best example because there's absolutely no trigger in the toilet.
Yeah.
There's a wall in front of you. And something interesting I found out, one of my friends, she started writing pieces of books and arts on the door of the toilet. So when you go to their toilet, you can actually start reading things on the wall, which is quite interesting.
Because if you go back to before the time of social media or phones, people had newspaper stacks on the toilet. And at least in Europe for sure.
Not in Europe.
Or a book somewhere. I have friends who have books on the toilet still. And then they sit down and they start reading the book. And I always have to remember my dad asking when someone spent a lot of time on the toilet, he was like, don't you think it's nicer to chill in your bed or on a chair than sitting on the toilet, having your feet fall asleep and just like reading something or like, being on your phone, let's say.
Yeah.
And then another thing though is that a lot of people associate toilet with me time. So that's when they can get rest. Like I have this friend of a friend, for example, he has kids.
Yeah.
They're really small kids, so they need a lot of attention at the moment. And he goes on the toilet and then he watches an episode of a series.
In the toilet.
Yeah, because that's the only place where he's without kids, where he can like have some me time. So he kind of goes there, but then instead of like being in the moment, maybe focusing on
where's the moment there?
Relieving yourself or just like enjoying the silence on the toilet, you're then feeding yourself with watching a series or watching something on social media. So you're again busy in your head. So it's originally a place of, I don't know, being with yourself and what you have to do in the toilet. And then we're bringing another media inside there, and then we're disturbing the silence again or the stillness.
But my point being, why can't we be still?
I think we can. I think we just have to learn, and we have to unlearn a certain behavior and learn a new behavior, and I think then we can. It just requires effort. If you just go for the quick dopamine hits all the time, of course you're not gonna manage to.
But then what can we do? Like, give me advice on being still, if I wanna.
Yeah, I think it's looking at every situation where you are not happy with yourself. Let's say, like you realize, I'm in my bed and I'm on my phone. So if you're like, I don't want to be on my phone in my bed, but I'm still on my phone in my bed, then your actions don't match what you actually want. Mm-hmm. But if it's important to you that you're not with your phone in your bed, then you can make a rule for yourself to not use the phone in the bedroom, for example, and then the bedroom becomes a phone-free zone. Buy an alarm clock if you need an alarm to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Don't use your phone for that. And then I think you can make yourself a rule for that, and then that specific part of your life is improved. If you don't want to use your phone on the toilet, make a rule that you're not going to do that.
So design phone-free zones in your...
I think that's a great
idea. That's not a bad idea.
Actually. And
if it's your bed, your toilet...
For example, maybe the dinner table. This one we talked about as well.
For people who don't follow us still on our socials, we talked about it last episode that I said sometimes I have to watch a movie or something when I'm eating, and Dennis recommended me to just sit by the window and just watch people. Yeah. And I did it one day and it was absolutely beautiful. I was watching people coming by. There was a nice wind and the sun was shining through the trees.
So what was the initial behavior that you wanted to get rid of?
Watching something during eating.
Okay, and then so you discovered like that's the thing that's annoying you. You don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, but
and then you can develop a new routine.
Making it a routine is difficult because doing this every day, that is a difficult task.
But that's life, man. I think
It is life.
that's you then. Like, is it important enough? Then you will keep doing it.
Yeah. It's the consistency. You have to build up the consistency and put the trust in yourself that if you want to change, you have to stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah, because that's always the element of like, being just actively living, I think, and taking a decision. I'm not going to do it like this. I'm going to do it like that. And I'm sure if you do it, like, I don't know, how many days did it take to create a habit? 90 days or something?
They say 40.
40 days. If you do this 40 days, that every time you eat, you actually focus on enjoying the food, maybe sending out gratitude to everyone who helped bring this food to you, including yourself as the cook if you created the food. Albert Heijn, the supermarket, the people that work there, the farmers that deliver to Albert Heijn, the sun that made the grain grow or whatever, and yourself who prepared this amazing meal, and then you just sit and enjoy the meal. Maybe you look out of the window, like what you said. If you do that 40 days in a row.
Interesting. Now I'm challenged.
Yeah, maybe it's
I feel like I want to do, I don't know about that one, but I want to do something for 40 days now and see if it sticks. I still don't know what it is. If you follow us on social media, you will probably see. I have to still think about it, but I would, because I know another guy in Iran, he did this, and every day he was posting about it.
What was his challenge?
He didn't say it.
Okay.
He didn't say it. Yeah. He was just doing the days, but he's now on day 37. And I just want to know if it's going to stick around.
I think everyone would love for you to do a 40-day challenge, and this will be a cool topic maybe. And then I don't know, you could write down your thoughts during your lunch, for example, and then share those.
Sure.
But yeah, let's see. Stay tuned. This example actually reminds me also that I wanted to share one takeaway or one learning that I had. So as we said in the beginning, we also went on a surfing holiday. So there was actually 4 days where we went surfing. And there was something amazing that I took away from this surfing. It was my second time surfing, being in the waves. And last time was with friends, so I was kind of freestyling. Worked quite well because I had experienced friends who gave me a lot of tips and advice. But this time we also had like a surf coach with us who was actually training us and showing us how to surf, and helped also with some basics. And then we just spent a lot of time in the water. And I was thinking about this time later on that... and then I researched about it and I found out about surfer mentality, and I just wanted to share what surfer mentality is about and how I interpret it and how it helps me be more present in the moment. And this is something I realized whilst in Portugal. There's a surfer, for example, like us, and the thing with surfer mentality is it's really like you're taking your surfboard and you're going out into the waves, and then you're sitting there.
You have to go a little bit far.
Yeah, you go further into the waves where the waves are, obviously. So that's the first thing, positioning yourself well. So I'm now in a position where there's good waves coming.
Yes, and you have to walk against the waves before you can.
And you actually have to walk against. And you're waiting for those waves, and you're not taking the first wave, and you're not taking every wave. You're actually waiting for a nice one where you think, okay, this wave has some potential. And you don't know when it's going to come. You know that it's going to come. But in that moment on the water, you're just looking at the waves and looking forward to the next one that you decide to take. And then you see that wave coming towards you, and you're like, all right, this is the one. And you jump on your board, you start paddling, and then you get up and you take the wave. And once you have a little bit of skill, like towards the end for us, you even manage to stand on it and surf maybe all the way back to the beach. And the thing with surfer mentality is that in this very moment when you're standing on the board, you know that you're going to fall off the board. You know that this wave is going to end. And you know that you're going to be back in that water waiting for another wave. But in that very moment, it's so easy to just enjoy the wave you're on right now. And this is something I really felt, and something that retaught me a lesson that I had learned so many times already, which is also something we talked about in one of the previous episodes. To let the future be the future, not think about those waves that are going to come in the future that I'm going to wait for again, not think about the past when I fell off the last wave, when I didn't take another wave or whatsoever, but really, really just enjoy the present moment and that wave that I'm on. And yeah, I really wanted to take that with me into my life and really enjoy more whilst things are happening. Not be afraid of what's going to happen in the future, not think too much about the things that happened in the past, but really be in the moment, enjoy that. Like enjoy when the sun is hitting your face and not think about it's going to rain tomorrow, it rained yesterday. But even when it then starts raining, to just appreciate and enjoy the rain. And these are just some random examples. But yeah, so surfer mentality is like positioning yourself, waiting for the right wave, taking that one, being really in the present moment on that wave, and always getting back into the water is another thing with surfer mentality, because once you're done with the wave or you're in the water or at the shore, you don't sit at the shore waiting for waves. You go back in and you're like waiting for the next opportunity to take a wave. And as you do that, you roll with the punches. Some of the waves are going to be too strong and throw you in the water. Some of the waves are gonna die under you. This happened to me as well, that I was like, yeah, this is the wave, and then it was not a wave. I was just like, it just died. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things that we can learn from surfer mentality and just being really present in the moment.
That was very nice.
Yeah, that's my main thing maybe that I took away and that I thought about a lot in the recent days as well. And as I'm now going on a run, to just really enjoy it while I'm doing it.
I heard this before, but hearing you say it again, it's just something about it. And I know maybe this is in almost a lot of sports.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have this mentality of if you get down, you wake up, stand up and go again for it, and again and again and again. But something about waves and just hitting you, and actually when you actually surf, you see that if it hits you hard. And what you said really resonated with me, that when you get on the board, you really don't care when is the next match, when is the next game, who is the next one. You're just on the wave riding that one, and it will take you to the beach. And then you have to go all the way back, and you have to just take control of the wave that you're on.
And you do it all over again.
And then, and again and again.
Yeah. And that's just beautiful, I think.
Yeah. Well done. Thank you for reminding me to have this mentality.
And I think you can connect this to stillness as well, because when I'm on the board, even though like I'm trying to balance myself and maybe steer a little bit, there's still somehow stillness because I'm only doing that one thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have 1,000
You're
things.
hyper focused on just riding that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times, we just like the human brain in general has so many thoughts at the same time, and then like it's all that radio noise.
Yeah.
But when I'm focused on just being on that wave and enjoying that, all the other things I didn't think about.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Now I want to go surfing again.
Yeah, me too, actually. Let's go.
Next summer.
Yeah, next summer for sure.
Thank you for sharing that story. Dennis, is there something else that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe in general movement or like a bit of challenging ourselves with movement or sports can provide some focus and stillness as well.
This is I think this also goes back to our last episode of
the one before the number, like before the running one with Anil, you mean?
No, I mean the running one with Anil, actually.
Yeah.
That I also mentioned there, that people, for example, with mental health are very good at endurance sports. Because this is the thing, that in the past, like our grandfathers, they didn't have to, maybe they didn't have as much mental health problem as they had physical health, because they were always running from the animals, going to find food, hunting, looking for mates. This was the always in move. But now, sorry, we are moving to more of a spectrum of society that if you just sit down, you can live your life. I told you also in the previous I think the first or 2 episodes, you can sit down here, do your work. I can ask you to bring me water. I can call to get my food. I can call to get my date. You can just sit down and everything will just go on. It's not like before anymore. And for this, people move less and less and less and less physically. But I think there are more and more and more and more mental triggers, and moving in your mind more is there. And I think if you just shift the focus a little bit toward a physical activity, like running, sport, anything that you enjoy, walking can be walking. I remember a few years ago that I was not in a good place. I just took a walk for 2 hours, and it really helped me. Just walking for 1 hour, 2 hour to a good view, taking a deep breath and walking back.
Yeah. I like also what you said with breath, because it doesn't always have to be endurance sports or something tough. I think breath work in itself,
it's shifting your focus on breathing.
And then you focus on your breath, and it helps get all this other noise out a bit.
Yeah, because your breath is always also with you. So one of the meditation that I do, it's like different kind of meditations, but it always asks you that if you felt uncomfortable or out of focus, just put your hand on your chest and listen to the rhythm of your breathing. Just takes you to the current moment, because you're breathing in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always with you, so you don't have to take anything.
That's true.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, so we just unpacked our little holiday with the staff of the Hearts Wide Open podcast.
Yes.
For you guys, and maybe one of the takeaways outside of the things that we talked about is to be next time before you go on a trip or in a new environment, maybe think of some things that you would really like to do. We wanted to connect with people and be more in stillness without our phones, social media, etc. So this is how that went for us. But maybe there's something else that you want to try on your next holiday. And these situations where you're taking yourself out of your environment and go somewhere new are the perfect place to try new things and experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like those type of things, maybe you come back and you decide to change some things about your life. It's going to be harder because you have your routines. But you might
but if you like it.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with just going on a chill holiday and lay by the beach for a week. But it's also nice sometimes to have a
different
bit of a goal or challenge yourself on that level. Cool. Yes. So, before we wrap up again, as we mentioned in the beginning of this episode already, we're going to start a Movember campaign where Soroosh is going to run 10 kilometers on 3rd of November in Haarlem. Come support him there in person or donate to our Movember campaign where you can support his running. At the end of November, we're also going to host our first men's circle. So if you live in the Netherlands or are in Amsterdam at the time, feel free to join us. It's completely free and donation-based, and anything you guys donate also goes to our Movember campaign. Mm-hmm. So let's see how much we can raise together for men's health and men's mental health specifically. And stay tuned on our social media. If you like this episode, we're doing this for free. We're not getting paid. We're doing this in our free time, actually. If you enjoyed any of the things that we talked about so far, it helps us a lot if you review this episode and leave a comment, share us on your social media, and maybe help another man who needs to hear about this type of spaces and these type of conversations. Thank you so much again for tuning in.
Yeah, this is Heart Wide Open, and
see you on the next one. Bye-bye.